Kia ora friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm Gina, and in today's video I'm going to be starting on a project that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's Wednesday Addams' bedroom in Ophelia Hall, which is from the TV series Wednesday. So instead of just diving in and making it up as I go, what I want to do is spend a little bit of time today to make sure I get all the angles right, to make sure that the composition is right, and I'm going to make that out of cardboard today. So therefore I'm not using a whole lot of expensive materials, and if I do need to change anything, then it's very easy to do. So let's get started. So I'm starting off with the circle window, and this is a really iconic piece, which is the spiderweb design and a stained glass window effect. The scale is going to be 1/24 scale, so half, what we call half scale in miniature, so half an inch equals 1 foot in real life. And so that's the scale that I'm going to use for this particular build. And so I'm starting off with the circle window just so that I can kind of get an idea of how big that window needs to be, and then I'm going to build everything else around it and get the composition of the room around the size of the window. So I'm just going to start by using my hot glue gun, and I'm just going to hot glue everything together because it's quick and easy and it sets up pretty much immediately. So once I've got the walls in place around the window, and I've kind of just taken a best guess effort on the size, but I'm just going to start by creating the beams around the room. I wasn't really too sure where to start, and I thought this was as good a place as any. I've just cut strips of cardboard to various lengths, and I'm just creating the wall beams around the room first, leaving a gap for the windows, and generally getting a pretty good feel for the shape and size of the room. So once I'm happy with that, then I can start putting in some of the roof line details, and these are going to be the long beams that are going to be coming through. And the reason why I did it this way, because that's where I wanted to create that detail in behind where the wall meets the floor and the roof line meets the floor as well. So for the length of these, I played around with a couple of options, and this is a length that I've sort of settled on. And I'm very conscious that this is really just going to be a bit of an experiment. This might be the right length, it might be too short, it might be too long. But again, it's just a place to start. Then I can assess what's working and what's not. For the corner pieces, so I just started off by cutting them to the right length where they meet together. I do go back and cut these down into a little bit more shape, which is exactly the reason why I'm doing this in cardboard, because I can manipulate things and change things and experiment with things without it being too permanent. So for the arches, all I'm going to do here is draw this out onto a flat piece of cardboard. I'm not too worried about getting a three-dimensional shape with these. I know that that will come in the actual build, but what I was trying to do here is kind of get a bit of a feel for the actual size and the dimension and how that's going to fit into the room, and actually how much that's going to take away from the visual aspect looking into the room. So that's really what the intention of this is here. So it's not going to be flat in the real build. And then I'm just going to add in some beams and some extra structural support and a little bit of a cross beam across the front. So this actually really does start to bring the whole build together, which I'm really happy with. And then you can kind of see that view down into the window. So just adding in the side walls as well, and again just out of a flat piece of cardboard. They didn't need to have too much detail at this stage. So like I mentioned with the corner pieces, I am grateful that I'm making this out of cardboard, because I can actually cut things away as they start to fit and not fit, as the case may be. So because I'm making this out of cardboard, and I know I've mentioned that a few times, one of the great things is I can start removing pieces and replacing them if they don't quite fit. So for the roof itself, I'm just using a bit of EVA foam, and this is really malleable and easy to cut, and it's pretty sturdy, so, and thin, which is one of the things that I really wanted to make sure that I achieved there. So just with the arch windows, I've just glued those into place. They'll have a lot more detail in them in the real thing, but I just really wanted to get a feel for placement of them and size of them. And then this is the front window piece, and this took me a little bit of time to work out. One of the things you don't see with a cut down video is all the backwards and forwards and all of the dry fitting and all the trial and error and all the resizing of things. So this did take a little bit of time to work out. And then once I had worked them out, it was a really simple process of repeating and cutting these to exactly the same size. And then I could very quickly put them into place, and it all came together very quickly. Going to use the same EVA foam to create the roof line, and this was a really awesome product to use. It's very malleable, it's very easy to cut, and it's very easy to glue into place. The hot glue worked really well on it, and it also meant that I could fit in any pieces where there were gaps. So when I come back and create the roof pieces, then I know I've got my angles right. I just wanted to check in with you to see how I'm feeling about this project. I feel that the windows, these side little windows, are too small, which means that I'm going to need to alter the beams on the inside in order to make that gap wider. The other thing is I wonder if the roof line is a little bit short, so I might actually lift this up a little bit as well. I'm happy with the window. I think that's really good. I really want to make the column and the arches in the room as well, but it's obstructing too much of the view of the inside. So if I, for example, ended up by covering this up, there's not a lot of space to be able to view the inside. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this whole back piece removable. Anyway, I can get to that, but I'm glad that I've got this far. So thank goodness for cardboard. So one of the other things I'm really happy about is there's a little detail on the inside that I really wanted to capture, from where the vertical beams come down, which support the type of walls, to where the ceiling or the roof beams come down, and there's a gap in behind Wednesday's desk. So I really wanted to capture that detail, which I absolutely have. Again, I'm really glad that I've done this out of the cardboard. What I'm going to do today is I am actually going to finish off the railing and just make sure we've got enough gap here, and just double check a couple more things, and then that'll be it for this video. So let's get into today. So to create the exterior part of the patio and the fence and the railing, I've actually just cut this down to size, and I've really just eyed it up to what I feel looks right, and using a little bit of a scale rule on it. For the pillars, all I've done is I've glued 3 different layers of cardboard together. What I'll probably end up by doing is trying to make these a little bit more square. They're not really square in this particular build, but I'm not too worried about it, because it's really just to get an idea of position, of the size of all the different pieces, and where they're going to sit actually in the project. Then one final piece that I wanted to do is there's 3 separate little windows, one at the front of the building, and then there's 2 on either side of the main roof line. And I'm just using some flat pieces of card to fill in the spaces where there's going to be some decorative railing. So this is giving me a great sense of composition for the patio area, and I'm really happy with how this is actually starting to come together. It's really looking like the exterior of Ophelia Hall. I've learned a few things along the way with this particular project, and especially doing this in cardboard, and I'm very, very thankful that I've done this. If you've found this video helpful, hit that like button and feel free to subscribe to the channel. Have a fabulous week, everyone, and until next week, I'll see you then. Bye for now.